Hello and welcome to our series running the WWE in 2026, but in an alternative timeline where WWE has become a touring company and has also decided to divide its roster into men and women. So we have a men's roster and a women's roster. And today's episode is for Money in the Bank. That's where we've got to. We're into the middle of April. Obviously, our last two episodes were WrestleMania's Night 1 and 2. If you've not seen those, go back and catch up with them on the channel. If you want to continue to follow along with this series and all the other things on the channel as well, give us a subscribe. And of course, if you enjoy the video, give us a like as well. So yeah, we're going into Money in the Bank 2026. I've got a confession though to make to start off, and that is that we have a very good chance of this being the last episode of this series. I'm not certain, but the reason I'm saying that is because first of all, we failed our first goal. Where are the owner goals on here? There it is. So we failed our first goal. It's not on the list anymore, but it was to um, ensure that we brought the roster size down to a certain number of wrestlers. We got nowhere near it. In fact, I think we increased our roster beyond the point where it was even possible. We've got currently 110 active wrestlers, and that's not even counting about 7 or 8 guys and women that are injured at this point in time. So we massively failed that. Also, our second owner goal is under major threat as well, which is this one: critical importance. WWE must not have fallen below huge highs when the time expires. Now, can't I still don't know whether or not that means I could go below huge highs and then get back up to it by that date, or it means I can't drop below huge highs at all. I guess we might find out. And the reason we might find out is because our popularity is really on the wane. So, as you can see here, in order for us to be a big sized company, we need to have achieved 77 popularity across Eastern USA, which is the Great Lakes, Mid Atlantic, New England, Southeast, and Tri-State. Now they're all 77 at the moment, so that's okay. To achieve huge, we then also have to have 71 popularity throughout the regions of either Canada or Mexico, which we do. It's actually this part that's under threat because, as you can see, Midwest has already gone down to 76 in terms of popularity. And if any of those that I just mentioned, these 5 regions, goes below 76, then we will be not huge anymore, and I'll fail that second owner goal. And there's a very good chance that Ari Emanuel, who already rates my performance as low, will ultimately fire me. And if that happens, you know what? We're going to live with it. That will be the end of the series because I've decided that if I can't do this without artificially bumping up the popularity, then maybe there's no point in carrying on as it is. So that's the harsh reality. So, that might not be the most motivating way to start an episode, but that's also the kind of the threat that we're living under right now. Now we're going to go into Money in the Bank, which is a men's roster show. You'll have noticed that we've switched the calendars, kind of swapped over between the men and the women in terms of who goes first. That's because the women now have a number of bigger events coming up over the next quarter of the year, or at least that's the plan. So we have run the Money in the Bank tour, which we're going to go through in a moment, and then once we've done that, we will move on to Money in the Bank itself. So let's go to the Money in the Bank tour, shall we? It started here, day one of the Money in the Bank tour, and we've over the course of the month we have had 6 Money in the Bank qualifier matches that determine the 6 men who will be taking part in the Money in the Bank ladder match at the pay-per-view. So on the night we had the newly increased in size stable of the Street Profits defeat the Wyatt Six, and you will have seen here, have added Ricky Saints to their stable. He joins Trick Williams, Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins, and of course LA Knight in the Street Profits. They defeated the Wyatt Six. We already know that Dexter Loomis is going to be joining us, and I have no plans for the Wyatt Six in the long run. So a victory for the Street Profits here. We also had LA Knight defeat Shinsuke Nakamura in the first of the Money in the Bank qualifying matches. The Vision defeated CM Punk, Sami Zayn, and Fraxium in an 8-man tag match. We had Jimmy Uso, Talatonga, and JC Mateo attack CM Punk and his teammates after this match. This is obviously in retaliation on the part of the Bloodline here for Punk defeating Roman Reigns in the main event of WrestleMania Night 2. We also saw Cody Rhodes defeat Chad Gable in another Money in the Bank uh, ladder match qualifier. Goodness me, sorry, I'm struggling to talk today. A really good match, actually. 76, Chad Gable showing that he's got some real quality. Then afterwards, Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and Jacob Fatu attacked Cody and Randy. This is obviously after they'd beat up The Rock, and Cody Rhodes and Randy Orton had beaten up The Rock at WrestleMania. Then Jey Uso came out and basically set out the Bloodline's new mission, which is to take out all the enemies of the Bloodline that exist currently in WWE, that being Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and CM Punk specifically, and then anybody else who kind of aligns themselves with those two men. Then on night 2 of the Money in the Bank tour, we had 2 more Money in the Bank qualifying matches. The first was Sheamus defeating Drew McIntyre when he was helped along by Nakamura. This was basically after Drew had laughed at Shinsuke Nakamura for having lost his qualifying match. You'll remember that McIntyre and Nakamura have been in a big feud. Nakamura then came out to cost Drew McIntyre the match. Sheamus gets the victory. Drew McIntyre and his stablemate Apollo Creed then attacked Shinsuke Nakamura, but Konosuke Takeshita again made the save for Nakamura. Then in the other Money in the Bank qualifier, Jacob Fatu defeated Sami Zayn in a pretty decent match as well. So Jacob Fatu and Sheamus join LA Knight and Cody Rhodes in the Money in the Bank ladder match. In addition to that, have all those matches happening. CM Punk tells Jey Uso that he's a coward as a feud begins to brew between those two. We had the Judgment Day defeat the European Union in an 8-man tag match. We also had Cody and Randy Orton introduce Obafemi as the newest member of Evolution 2.0. They called Obafemi kind of the Batista of the new Evolution, of course, with Cody being Triple H and Randy Orton taking the place of Ric Flair in this new Evolution. And then the Creed brothers defeated New Catch Republic, Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wild, and the Motor City Machine Guns in a #1 contenders match for the tag team titles. So the Creed brothers will go to Money in the Bank and face the Street Profits for the tag team belts. And then finally, the final day of the tour, not a long tour, this one, the Money in the Bank tour. First of all, the Money in the Bank qualifiers, Bron Breakker defeated AJ Styles in their match. We also saw Gunther defeat Damian Priest in another qualifying match, meaning that Bron Breakker and Gunther join Jacob Fatu, Sheamus, Cody Rhodes, and LA Knight in the big ladder match. And then we also saw, in addition to those 2 big matches, Penta win a 4-way match against Bronson Reed, Ilya Dragunov, and Jimmy Uso to put him into a IC title match against Dominic Mysterio at the Money in the Bank show. We also saw Dominic Mysterio tell Penta afterwards not to bother showing up at Money in the Bank because he's not going to get the victory against him. And Drew McIntyre called out Konosuke Takeshita. Takeshita came out to face up to Drew McIntyre, but he was attacked by the War Raiders. This was after it was announced that Drew will face Takeshita in Takeshita's first singles match in the WWE. So in terms of the card for Money in the Bank, I've not got any match graphics this time, I'm afraid, but we have got in the Money in the Bank ladder match for starters, Cody Rhodes, Sheamus, Bron Breakker, LA Knight, Jacob Fatu, and Gunther all vying to get that briefcase. We've got CM Punk will be teaming with Sami Zayn against the Usos in a tag team match. Drew McIntyre against Konosuke Takeshita. Randy Orton will be teaming with Obafemi and their newest member, which has not been revealed yet, against Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa. Dominic Mysterio will defend the IC title against Penta. The Street Profits defend the tag team titles against the Creed brothers. Chad Gable and AJ Styles will face each other in one-on-one action. And then there is a 10-man tag match featuring 5 members of the LWO against the Motor City Machine Guns, Praxium, and Carmelo Hayes. That is the complete planned event, at least for now, the planned card. We may need to add a couple of matches depending on whether or not that takes up the allocation of time that we've got. But that is everything that's ready for Money in the Bank today. So after this cut, we'll be bringing you that show. Okay, so here we are then for Money in the Bank 2026. We are in front of 27,000 people in the Dignity Health Sports Park. And we start with this 10-man tag match. The Latino World Order, Rey Mysterio, Rey Fenix, Santos Escobar, Joaquin Wilde, and Cruz del Toro against Carmelo Hayes, the Motor City Machine Guns, and Fraxium. And this one ends in 12:57 when Escobar pins Nathan Frazer with a bridging German suplex. And this was designed to revolve around a lot of high spots, as you might imagine, with a number of the wrestlers involved in this one. And it got a segment rating of 60. Largely thanks to the performance of Rey Mysterio and Rey Fenix, who were both very good. Carmelo Hayes wasn't bad, though, either, nor was Axiom or Nathan Frazer. In general, a very good way to start the show, as these two kind of teams were just put together to take up some time and get some people on the show, of course. So into the second match of the night, and we had Chad Gable versus AJ Styles, where Chad Gable beats AJ Styles in 14-0 when won by pinfall with a Chaos Theory, and a segment rating of 69 with the crowd heat hot and rising. This is quite an important show for us in terms of, can we make this a really good show that prevents us from dropping in popularity, as I said at the start of this episode. And disappointment, really, because in some ways, because I thought this might be a little bit better. Chad Gable only a 63 this time. AJ Styles a 64. If you'll remember, he had a really great match against Cody Rhodes on one of the tour shows in a qualifier for the Money in the Bank. But Gable wins this one to get us through the second match of the night. So on to the tag team title match, and the Street Profits successfully defend the tag team titles against the Creed brothers in 10:33 when Montez Ford pinned Julius Creed with a pop-up spinebuster and frog splash. The Street Profits make their first defense of the World Tag Team titles. Of course, they won the belts at WrestleMania from Joe Gacy and Dexter Loomis. This one got a segment rating of 64, though, so pretty decent in general. Montez Ford had an in-ring performance of 58. Julius Creed also did, and Dawkins and Brutus Creed had 54s, so not bad there either. So the next contest is for the Intercontinental title match, and a really decent match here as Dominic Mysterio beats Penta in 14:43 with a handful of tights on the pinfall. Dominic Mysterio makes his 11th defense of that Intercontinental title for a segment rating of 70. Absolutely great match here. Dominic was a 68 in-ring performance. He's one of the best performing and most consistent performing wrestlers on the roster at this time. Penta 56. And Dominic Mysterio benefited from having a groundswell of public support. Obviously, the Intercontinental Champion with the Judgment Day for a segment rating of 70. And the crowd after this one are white hot. So all is going very well at this point in time. We'll see if this translates into the rest of the show. Now, before the next match, Randy Orton comes out and he introduces the fourth member of Evolution 2.0. It is the former Brian Pillman Jr., Lexis King, who's been on NXT for a little while now. And he comes out to join Orton in the ring. Another second-generation superstar, of course, as part of this group. He joins Obafemi and Randy Orton for this six-man tag match in the next contest against Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa. The Bloodline are defeated here when Obafemi pins Tonga Loa with a fall from grace. Obafemi, a 63 in-ring performance. So we really are, as you can tell from the way we've been booking him, we are really high on Obafemi, and we're trying to make him one of the next big stars in the company. Lexis King, a 43 on his debut. Hopefully that will improve as time goes on. For a segment rating here of 57. Not an amazing match, but not too bad either, given the Bloodline people, the members of the Bloodline that were involved here, Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa, not their three biggest stars. Two of their biggest stars, though, are in the next match. No, they're not. They're not in the next match, sorry, because the next match is Drew McIntyre versus Konosuke Takeshita, a 79 rated match. Konosuke Takeshita defeats McIntyre in 50-41 by pinfall with a javelin kick. This was Takeshita's in-ring debut in the WWE, and he beats Drew McIntyre here in a very, very good match indeed. Takeshita had an in-ring performance of 72. He's also in amazing form. McIntyre 69. Very pleased with this. Very, very pleased with this indeed. A really decent match between these two, and Takeshita has landed with a bang, really, in the WWE, and hopefully that means he can go on to do big things going forward. So just two more matches left. The first of those, a tag team contest as Jay and Jimmy Uso face CM Punk and Sami Zayn, and the Usos get the victory when Jay Uso pins CM Punk with a double super kick. Following interference from Tala Tonga, in-ring performance-wise, CM Punk was head and shoulders above everyone else and carried this match. Jay Uso was a 70, Sami Zayn a 66, Jimmy Uso a 62. A segment rating of 75. The crowd still very hot at this point in time. And CM Punk was off his game, which was a little bit of a disappointment. Maybe that would have made this segment even better had he not been. Then after the match, Jey Uso cuts a promo on CM Punk. He grabs the microphone and tells CM Punk that he's just shown the world that he can beat CM Punk, can pin him 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring, and therefore challenges CM Punk to face him one-on-one for the WWE title. CM Punk, after having recovered from the previous match and having been pinned, tells Jey Uso that the only way Uso was able to beat him was with the help of his brother and with the help of Tala Tonga, but he says he's on anyway, and he will show Jey Uso what being a champion is all about. Segment rating here of 91 as this feud where CM Punk is up against one half of the bloodline. Really good advancement here and gains heat. So it's all down to the main event for the Money in the Bank briefcase. A segment rating just of 76, though. Still, in terms of these really big matches, it just is not quite working out for us. Jacob Fatu wins the Money in the Bank here in 20 minutes 36 when he retrieves the briefcase. Jacob Fatu was a 64 in-ring performance. Gunther a 72, Cody Rhodes a 78. Everybody else below them, though, in terms of their in-ring performance, and LA Knight at the bottom there with a 58. You can see Cody Rhodes benefited from having a groundswell of public support. Sheamus benefited from being in amazing form, but only a segment rating of 76 here, which is not a bad match by any stretch of the imagination, but obviously isn't quite at the heights we've seen earlier in the show, and also won't be good enough to prevent us losing further popularity as a consequence of this event. Indeed, it increased our popularity in 9 regions, and in fact, that we're okay. An overall rating of 76. I mean, I got to be honest, I'm surprised. I thought we were going to have a decrease in popularity in most regions. Instead, we get an increase of our popularity in 9 regions. And I'm assuming that's in Canada and Mexico. We've enjoyed that increase. You can see here that the 3 main matches were excellent. Obviously, Konosuke Takeshita versus Drew McIntyre takes match of the night honors. And the promo between Jey Uso and CM Punk was also really good. This is also the first show where we haven't had the warning message that we don't have enough hot storylines going on. Now, going into the show, only 3 of my storylines were considered hot. So I'm assuming that 1 or 2 of these matches have changed that for a couple of other stories, which means we haven't got that warning either, which would have possibly dragged us down. So a stay of execution for us on today's episode. So I've got to be pretty happy with that in general. I mean, obviously, we're going to praise Konosuke Takeshita for his performance. I think we will compliment CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. And who else? Maybe Jey Uso? Is that for? No, let's just do Dom because he's obviously in really good form at the moment. So those are the people who get praised for this particular performance. And you can see here, improvements in Mexico, improvements in Australia with the other places, so not Canada. Obviously, Canada already pretty high. And in America, everything stays steady. And so pretty happy with that, all being said. So the post-show media scrum, which as I've already sort of expressed, I'm not a big fan of, but we have got here Carmelo Hayes have an off night. Is this consistently going to hold him back in WWE? I'm sure that was a one-off. Will you be making an effort to keep Jason Jordan on the roster? I'll say that we might not be. Rumors that your boss Ari Emanuel isn't that pleased with your performance as head booker. Are you worried? Let's see. Let's just do this one. What, if anything, are you planning to do about The Undertaker? It's an open secret that he's annoyed about how things are going for him in WWE currently. Um, you have 2 workers, Nick Aldis and Ricky Saints, who really don't like each other. Are you planning to address this? So I didn't realize they didn't like each other. I don't intend to get involved. That always goes down well if I leave them alone. It's known that Paul Heyman and AJ Styles really don't like each other. Does this not reflect badly on your locker room environment? Um, okay, perfect. Word is that Logan Paul is annoyed with life in WWE. Are you looking to address this? Just keep that going, and there we go. I said I'm not really a big fan of those post-show media scrums. I don't like them in real life actually, but putting them in the game as well, it's just not something that I think is a worthwhile addition, if I'm perfectly honest. Anyway, that is all we've got time for today. That brings us to the end of Money in the Bank. Next time we will be bringing you Backlash, which is a women's roster event, and is where the real risk kicks in that we will drop down in popularity. So lots of work to be done for that one. But until then, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you when we're back.